another episode of Garage Fever by Krieger. Today we're going to keep wrenching on the old 98 here. Basically got all the new fuel components in, so we're just going to go ahead and dive in and put this new fuel tank up in. All right, so what we're going to start with first here is we got the new tank, new locking ring and gasket, and the new sending unit. So what we're going to do first is we're going to put our rubber gasket down in the channel first. Then we're going to put the sending unit on top of that. And then we're going to put our locking ring on top of that to lock it securely into the tank for no leaks. We're going to put our rubber gasket down in the channel first. Then we're going to gingerly put the sending unit down in the tank. It should be forward facing like this. Now we're going to take our locking ring and slide it down over the sending unit housing here. So basically what I did there, I slid that locking ring down the tubes over the sending unit. I don't have it fully locked yet, but basically the way that these work is you have to get them started underneath each of these tabs, and it rotates clockwise to tighten, and you'll see the little tapping tabs right there, and basically you just tap them until they get to these tabs here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I'm just taking a flathead screwdriver with a hammer, and I'm just making sure the tabs are all lined up. And you might want to go to the other sides of the locking tabs. So I got the locking ring installed now, and the way that you can tell that is there's 3 points around the lip of the tank, but basically the locking ring interlocks with the actual outer lining of the tank. So that's fully installed now. I already put the new fuel cap on the end, so there's no chance of any debris getting in the tank. Now I'm going to install the rubber lines on the hard lines. So I got all the hoses attached to the sending unit now. I do know that the vent tube, the hose I use for it, is slightly oversized, but I used that hose clamp and crimped it down really good. But basically, that's just a vent for the tank, so that should be absolutely fine that way. I decided to go with this style of clamp because on the old tank, those pull tab type of clamps look like they are either left off of the original hoses or they vibrated off over time. So I just decided to use those types of clamps, so maybe we won't have that issue again. I got the ground wire undone now, so that'll reattach to the body when we get the tank up under there. Once I get this tank under there, I will try to get this stuff mocked up before we lift it with the jack. So what I'm going to do next is attach the new fuel tank straps underneath the car. Fuel tank straps. Let's go ahead and get them up underneath the car. Straps are just going to slide into the body mounts of the car. I had to reuse the old fuel tank strap mounting screws for the straps. That wasn't no big deal. They were in pretty good shape still. That's kind of why I cut the old straps off, so maybe I could just reuse those easily. So no big deal. So now begins the fun of sliding that behemoth under here and jacking it up and trying to start one of these straps all by myself. So the ergonomics of this is not going to be fun, but basically I got the tank loosely under here in position. I got the new fuel tank straps tucked up on the exhaust pipes, but basically what I need to do now is pull them back down and underneath the tank. Then tilt the tank up like this so I can get the filler neck up above that cross member where it goes to the rear bumper. And once I get that kind of situated, I can get the jack under here and I can help lift it up to the body of the car. And as long as I get one of those straps started, I'll be golden after that. So let's dive in. Okay, that might not be as bad as what I thought it was going to be. Easy. Okay. Alright, so here's what I have so far. So basically I got the tank in, I got it plumbed, and I got the new straps attached. I apologize, my phone died earlier, so you missed most of the action, but it was pretty challenging by myself getting this tank up in here. But basically, we have a new tank, straps, hoses with clamps. What I'm going to do next is replace this fuel pump really quick. I bought a brand new one, and I'm going to put new rubber lines right to the pump, and then I have my factory hard line that goes to the carburetor. So let's go ahead and install that. To change these big block Oldsmobile fuel pumps, all you need to do is have a 1/2-inch wrench and a socket on a ratchet with an extension. So on the top side, you're just going to loosen it up with a wrench. And there's a little washer behind this nut, so always be careful not to drop it. And on the bottom side, you can just use a 3/8 ratchet with a 1/2-inch socket. And it's a bolt on the bottom side. So what I've done, I've just put silicone on both sides of this gasket so it stay adhered to the side of the block. There we go. I want to start with the bottom bolt first. That way the pump will get sucked into the engine block. I just snug the bottom, and then I'll start the top nut with the washer. New fuel pump is securely mounted to the engine block. Now it's time to run the hard line to the carburetor and run the 2 new rubber fuel lines. All right, I got the new fuel lines plumbed into the pump, and I got my factory feed to the carburetor hooked in. With that being said, all that is left is to put some gas in the tank, and I'm going to hook up a battery charger to the battery because I know it's almost stone cold dead. So I may wait till the morning to try to start this car, but it should be ready to rock tomorrow morning. All right, so it's the next morning, and basically what I'm going to do now is I got 5 gallons of fresh fuel I'm going to put in the car, and then I also got oil in a filter to go ahead and change in this car as well because I was priming it with carb cleaner and everything else, and I just want to go ahead and replace the oil in the engine because it's probably contaminated. So we'll put fresh fuel in the tank, and then we'll change the oil real quick. And in the meantime, I'll have the battery charger hooked up to the car so the battery gets recharged. And with that being said, we'll just dive in. So here's the setup I have: literally a 5-gallon gas can with an electric fuel pump with a hose going right into the tank. And what's great about these big luxury 4-door old cars is there's a cigarette lighter in every door. So I just modified this basically 12-volt line with a on and off switch. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and let it pump fuel into the tank. All right, got the battery charger hooked up to it now. So while I'm putting fuel in it and then change the oil, hopefully the battery will be charged back up to crank it when we're ready to test fire. All right, fresh fuel in the tank, battery's charging, going to jack it up and drain the oil out of it so I can get it changed. All right, I'm underneath the car on these big block 455s. It takes a 7/8 wrench to break that bolt loose on the bottom of the pan. So I'm going to drain the oil real quick, and then I'll pop the filter off and put the new one on, and then after that, we'll lower the car back down. I'm going to pop a Wix filter onto the big block here. Here's the part number for the big block Oldsmobile. All right, it's time to put oil back in the engine. So basically what I run here, this is actually 1540 STP diesel motor oil, and I always run this STP oil treatment with extra zinc in it for this old engine. I've been running this for at least 5 years now, and I have just absolutely been hammering on this engine and have had no issues. So that's what I just stick to. Everybody has their preference, but basically what I'll do here, I'll put 4 quarts in, I'll put that in, and then I'll probably put 1 or 2 more quarts in the engine because it does have a minor oil leak. So I always put just a pinch extra in it from time to time. So this would come out of the engine. It's pretty dark. It had a lot of miles on this oil change since the last time I changed it, and it's had a lot of burnout passes on it, so it was well overdue. All right, I think we're finally to the point where we can see if all this hard work is paid off. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get in and crank the key until I see oil pressure. Then I'll start pumping to see if we get any fuel to the carburetor, or it might hit before then. I don't know how fast that new pump's going to take it from the tank to the carburetor, but I guess we'll just give it a shot and see what happens. All right, key is on. All right, I've cranked the car over to build the oil pressure back up in the engine. I'm going to prime the carburetor. That was entirely way too much and not the right way to do that, but hopefully it works. All right. Yes! Ha 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 ha! Oh, she's cold. That transmission is not happy. That transmission always does that when it's really cold outside. It's got plenty of fluid in it, but once it warms up, the noise goes away. So this is going to mark the end of this video for today. When the weather gets a little bit nicer outside, I'll be sure to take you along for a test drive in this land yacht. If you like this video, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.